So kids and nutrition is a tough subject, and I am nowhere near being perfect. In fact, my kids, I don't know when it happened, but my kids got into like a really bad habit of eating dinner. But if I'm honest, they weren't eating a big enough dinner, and they would like snack like crazy at night. Like it was like 7 to 9 was like a feeding frenzy, and it was like one thing after the other from the pantry. And I would be sitting there being like, something from the fridge, something from the fridge before the pantry. And I had been buying a lot of things like Oreos and things like that because despite being a health coach, I grew up with a lot of food stuff. And I think my food stuff came from the fact that parents of our generation, moms of our generation, dieted a lot. And always, they were on the egg and peanut butter diet. They were on the popcorn diet. They were like, there was always like grapefruit and hard-boiled eggs. Like, it was like whatever food combo was going to be the best combo for fat loss. And as a female in the family, I just inherited dieting in that way. We also had high cholesterol growing up, and so our family had really low cholesterol foods, and so I would go to friends' houses, or I would babysit, and I would just eat all the food there. And like fruit snacks, I would eat the entire box. I would just like be like taking all the little bags and like shoving them down in the trash so the people I babysat for didn't know. So I don't want to give my kids food stuff. They're boys, so they're a little bit more protected than girls are because girls are just kind of taught by our society to diet from a very early age, which absolutely sucks. And so one of the ways that I'm starting to get things a little bit more under control in our house and kind of change the dynamic is visuals that I have up on the fridge, which I'll show you in another video. But I just started making my kids snack plates because my middle schooler, who's in 6th grade, is very independent and likes to have as much freedom as he can. And he's been really kind of asking for that. And one of the ways that I was just allowing him some freedom is like, yeah, sure, go ahead and buy your lunch every day. So what we try and do is get a good breakfast into him with good fat and protein every morning. He's not usually super interested in eating that early, so I try and send him to school with like a beef stick. He doesn't like cheese. I would love to send him with like a little Baby Bell and or mozzarella cheese stick and one of these, or a Paleo Valley beef stick. But then the other way that I can help influence, aside from feeding them really, really satiating meals, is by making them a snack plate. So when he comes home from school, instead of waiting for him to go to the cabinet and grab a bag and go do his homework, I just make him, it's a way to love him too. And you know, he's not too old for me to take care of him like that. So I have some blueberries and blackberries that I'm putting on the plate. I have this, which one was this? This was the Chomps beef stick, which doesn't have any sugar. I'm going to put some berries, some strawberries on the plate. And then these are almost ready to be put in our bag in the freezer because once they get just a little bit squishy, the kids definitely avoid them like the plague. So yeah, the rest of these are going to go in our bag in the freezer for smoothies. But I've got that. I've got an apple. So I'll do part of this for my middle schooler and part of this for my 4th grader. But just going to get some apple slices. So lots of good fiber. I don't choose to eat fruit, but that doesn't mean my kids can't. It's super healthy, especially if you're having the sugar from fruit, the fructose that you're getting from fruit with the package of the fiber. So I put a little cinnamon on that. And then they love Takis. So every once in a while I buy them the gross blue Takis and their mouths are full of blue dye and we just balance it, right? But I buy these from Trader Joe's. They're kind of like the Takis. They don't have any dyes in them. And instead of allowing him to take the bag, and instead of like breathing over his shoulder like I felt like my mom did, I'm sure she didn't, she was wonderful, and being like, take just the serving, I just like give it to them on the plate and it's like, here, and it's not a fight. So this is his plate. He's gonna get home from school and get some good protein, get some good fiber, get a little bit of a snack that he likes, and that's just like a loving way for us to kind of approach the subject of, hey, you're kind of eating too much processed stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. Hope this helps.